And good morning, everybody. It is Thursday, February 27th, 2025. In this time slot, you would normally hear Mr. Pat Kreitlow at Up North News Radio. But instead, it is Civic Media this morning, Todd Allbaugh and Greg Bach, and maybe Matt Naronair if you're watching on the stream this morning. Mr. Bach, how are you this morning?
I'm doing quite peachily keen. It's a Thursday morning.
Right?
It's a little damp outside, but hey.
It is a little damp. I mean, now are you, I'm not sure if we've talked about this you and I before, but by the way, Kreitlow is supposed to be, last I heard, on a quote-unquote work retreat. And then he outs himself on his Facebook yesterday, and he's actually at Brewers spring training in Arizona. I'm not sure how that works, but God love him. God bless him. He can work that out.
I will be fine with all this if I get a nice souvenir, but until that happens, I just responded with, I knew it.
He's back tomorrow, assuming that the flights are on time.
Right. Yeah. He should, all said he should be here tomorrow morning at 6:06 a.m. to return to the fabulous Up North News Radio with one Patrick Kreitlow.
Why do I feel that I should keep my setup here at the memorial desk at the Civic Media headquarters? Just because I feel like the flight's not going to make it. It's going to be like, well, Todd, can you fill in? And of course I will. I'll be here if need be. I'm nothing if not stand-by ready, as they say. But no, Pat will be back tomorrow. But Greg, have you and I talked about this before? I'm not sure. Are you more of a sunny and 20-degree person or rain and 38?
Oh, sunny. I would say sunny. I don't mind rain, but when it gets cold, that's when the rain gets cold, and it hits your body to what you're like.
Because you said it was kind of damp out this morning, and it is in much of Wisconsin, and we're seeing a little bit of fog here and there, and this time of year, this spring especially, and also into the fall. I just rather have it be below zero or below freezing and have snow or indoor sun than. The damp. And I must be getting older because my grandparents used to say this. It goes right through you. It goes right through you, and it's true. It goes right down to the bone when it gets damp like this.
Yeah. I get damp and it's wet and whatnot. Right. But man, I'll take that over 1 degree where you're like your whole body is cold, inside and out is cold. Your clothes are cold and touching your cold body, and you're like, why do we do this?
We'll have Brittany Merlot in hour number 2 for a complete weather forecast. It looks like it's going to be fairly nice. Temperatures once again in the upper 40s, perhaps below 50s around Wisconsin. Brittany will be in and give us the complete weather forecast details. Let's take a look right now at temperatures around the state. Not bad at all. We start from north to south. The Great Gitchagumi, Lake Superior, and the city of Superior, 37 degrees right now. Over at Ashland Bayfield, 36. Going down over to Amory this morning, 34 degrees in beautiful Amory. In Eau Claire this morning, looks like 37 degrees and mostly cloudy in Eau Claire. Wausau this morning, 36 degrees and clouds as well. 36 over in Lambeau Field in Green Bay, Wisconsin. La Crosse sitting at 37. Richland Center at 34 degrees. Our friends down there in think, Todd. Wisconsin Rapids. More coffee, Greg. 36 degrees in Wisconsin Rapids at WFHR this morning. Wausau, we said that. Oshkosh at 34 degrees at WISS. Here in Madison, 36 degrees in the capital city. And Greg Bach. How does he do it? He just heats it up. 37 degrees is what Racine, Kenosha, and Milwaukee all sitting at 37, very even. So looks like an on-time start to most of the school days this morning and out at work as well. As we have arrived, as we said, at Thursday, the 27th of February. Greg Bach, I'm very excited, for just to be with you, to hang out, and all of our listening audience as well. But in hour number 2, when Brittany comes on, we are going to have a cooking segment here on the show this morning, and I'm looking forward to this in nervous anticipation. It has to do with one of our days. Pat always goes through national days of the year. One of the great days this year involves food, and I thought, well, why not do a little cooking segment? great potential for disaster. So we'll see how that goes. And also, we have a great interview with the superintendent of public schools up in Eau Claire. That is Mike Johnson, along with our friend Trygve Olson, the senior advisor at the Lincoln Project. It is Public Schools Week here and across Wisconsin and the nation. And I know Pat and Up North News Radio has a great relationship with Wisconsin Public Education Network, has a lot of guests on like that. So we thought it'd be good to catch up with Mike Johnson, one of those guys who truly is up north. He hails from the River Falls area, and as we said, now the superintendent at the public schools in Eau Claire. So all that is coming up. Take a check of news headlines as well. Brittany Merlot, as we said, in with weather. Going to have some This Day in History a little bit later this hour. Check out Michael Jackson is involved in this day's Day in History musically.
Ooh.
So I'll get out my white glove and get set to go. And yeah, if you're watching on the stream, I got a new TV because the one I took on the road all the time, long story short, it broke. So I had to get a new TV here last week. And this is really the first time I've used it. And I can't figure out how to put the Civic Media logo behind me. So we have the Matt and Air logo just popping up here, which is fine because, Greg, you're a part of Matt and Air on Air. You every day from 10 until noon, you precede our show at noon. So we'll just throughout the day until Todd can figure it out. We'll plug Matt and Air on Air.
I have no problem with that. 10 a.m. to noon, Monday through Friday on Civic Media Radio Network.
Now last night, Greg, talking to usually Pat this time of the show, always looks at sports scores. Are you a college basketball fan or not so much?
Not at all, but I appreciate your effort. I appreciate the work.
Next segment, Todd. All right. No, so I am, and the Wisconsin Badgers doing pretty darn well, but the game last night was in Maryland in the Big Ten as Tom Izzo and the Michigan State Spartans, number 8 in the country, traveled to number 15, I believe, ranked Maryland. And it was a game and a half. The score was tied 55 all. Maryland had the ball with under 20 seconds left. And I'm not sure what the kid's name is, the player. He tried for a three-pointer, in my opinion. I talked to people who know basketball even better than I do. It's agreed. He just, in a situation like that, you want to let the clock run down so you make sure that your team gets the last plausible shot. Well, the kid shot it with, I don't know, I think around 10 seconds left, and he missed the shot, and it bounced off the rim and into the hands of a Michigan State player who quickly threw a one-handed pass to one of his other teammates who launched a half-court shot at the buzzer, nothing but net. Michigan State wins 58-55, literally. I know that word's overused these days, but literally at the buzzer. They had to review it, and it got off of his fingertips. And whatever, a half a second, quarter second later, the buzzer sounded and the red scoreboard went off. But it left his hands before the buzzer, and Michigan State wins 58-55.
Wow, man. So the kid's name was Trey Holloman, the one who took the shot.
Thank you.
He took the shot, and they're like, and the other people, their names don't matter.
Right. It's important for Badger fans because that means Michigan State is now alone in the top of the Big Ten. They sit at 14-13 in conference play. Michigan is right below them at 13-3. They still have to play one another again before the end of the season. Wisconsin is now in third place at 12-5, and Maryland and UCLA tied at 11-6. The Badgers traveling to the Breslin Center, Michigan State and East Lansing on Sunday. Huge game for Wisconsin and Michigan State, quite frankly. Right now, Michigan State is forecast to be a number 2 seed in the NCAA tourney, and Wisconsin forecast at number 3. Should Wisconsin pull off the win, the upset there, mild upset in East Lansing, they could flip that, get the 2 seed. If they keep it close, they probably keep the 3, maybe drop. You just don't want to go to the 5 seed, Greg, because usually the tournament, a 12 beats a 5 almost half the time. So,
but the other half of the time they lose, so you never know.
Well, yeah, you never know. So Wisconsin has a big game. Here's the piece of paper I was looking for. Wisconsin travels to East Lansing on Sunday. Where is it, Todd? On my sheet of paper. I have the wrong sheet of paper here. Well, yes. As a matter of fact, my notes, my liners that I have as I hold it up to the camera, ended yesterday, February 26th. I know.
Nothing but the hardest hitting news here on Civic Media Mornings.
If you want the facts from 3 days ago, tune in. No, here it is.
Yesterday's news today.
I found it. The Badgers play at Michigan State 12:30 on Sunday, and you can hear it for free, of course, on the Civic Media app. So there you go. Looking forward to that. So that was really the big sports story last night, as the Michigan State pulls off kind of that late win there. Other scores, let me see if I can just pull up some quick other scores here for you. Around the country from last night, as they say. Let's see here. Where's the old scoreboard at? There we go. It was UConn over Georgetown last night, 93-79. That will have an interest. That'll be of interest, I should say, to our friends in the southeast part of the state or around the state. Marquette fans will find that score interesting. Again, UConn 93 and Georgetown 79. Auburn continues to roll 106-76 over Mississippi. It was, let's see here, Clemson gets a win last night, number 13th ranked Clemson over Notre Dame by a score of 83-68. Memphis, they riced Rice 84-72, and the University of Kentucky, the Wildcats over University of let's see, just look at that, Todd. Oklahoma, sorry about that. 83-82, close game there. So it was San Diego State over Butler, 76-74, I believe. So there's some college games for you around the country last night. It is 18 minutes past the hour of 6 o'clock. Todd will have some more coffee, get a new pair of glasses, and we'll come back with more. And we'll try to fix the TV. It is. I'm just going to tell you, I'm very excited about this. It's National Toast Day. We'll talk more about
clink or crunch.
Oh, which is it? Come on back. You'll have maybe both. Maybe we'll clink and crunch. It's Civic Media this morning, in for Pat Kreitlow and Up North News Radio. Greg, Todd, come on back at Civic Media.
She is mine. Good day, sunshine. Good day, sunshine. Good day, sunshine. Good day, sunshine. Good day, sunshine.
Da, 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 da. Ba-da-da-da-da. Ouch.
humanity, sailing ships upon the sea, aren't lovelier than
And good
you.
morning, everybody. It is now 21 past the hour of 6 o'clock on this Thursday, February 27th, 2025, along with Greg Bach down at Radio City Park in Racine. I'm Todd Allbaugh here at the world headquarters of Civic Media in downtown Madison, Wisconsin. We are sitting in for Up North News Radio and a vacationing Pat Kreitlow. How much does he get? See, I heard there's these deals out there where you get unlimited vacation. I don't have one of those deals, but I heard those deals exist. Have you heard that?
I've heard. I mean, I feel like if you have that deal, you own the company. But
No, I've heard that deal exists outside that. But I don't have one of those.
I used to work for a place that would really had a really good head on their shoulders when it came to vacation time. They said you get this many. First of all, they started you out with 3 weeks, which I thought awesome. And then they said, if you need to take a half day because you got to go to the doctors, or you have to do errands, pick up the kids, don't take a day off. Just tell us when you're not going to be in, and then you can make it up in that pay period. That way you don't have to take your vacation time.
Well, that's good.
I'm like, that's amazing, because most Americans nowadays, they don't take their vacations to vacate. They take it to run errands, pick up the kids, go to the doctors, and do those kinds of things. And we have hundreds of millions of hours of vacation time lost every year because we can't. Americans are the worst at vacation.
They are, and I'm guilty of that. I have not taken mine in recent years like I should, and that's my goal. But no, I'm just joking around. Pat's actually he's working very, very hard. He's doing a documentary on Bob Uecker and the Milwaukee Brewers, and he is testing out popcorn down in Arizona, and he'll be back tomorrow with the results of all that work. So.
He said he's going to try out some peanuts and Cracker Jacks, and what does it say? He doesn't care if he ever gets back. So we'll see.
All right, take him out to the ball game. 23 past the hour of 6 o'clock. Kreitlow will be back tomorrow. We appreciate him allowing us to sit in here for him, keep the seat warm for him until tomorrow. Speaking of warmth, temperatures holding steady this morning. Now up to almost 30. Well, it's 39 degrees at Stout. By the way, my youngest niece announced she's going to Stout next year. So there you go. 39 at Menominee and Stout. 37 in Eau Claire this morning. 37 in Superior, Wisconsin. 36 in Green Bay. 34 Richland Center. 36 here in Madison, and 37 in Greg Bach's seat, or at least around him outside. There you go. In Racine, Kenosha, and Milwaukee this morning, all 37 degrees. Oh, I also forgot to mention Luke Mathers is going to be in at 10 till 8 this morning to close out the show. So what better way to close out the show? And I believe he's going to have a 4-legged creature with him as well.
Oh, I heard he's got enough creatures for 8 legs.
Really?
The sweet puppers.
All right, yeah. That'll be fantastic. So there you go. All right, now let's take a couple of headlines for you on this Thursday morning, the 27th of February at 6:24 right now across the state of Wisconsin. Federal spending and foreign policy were key themes at the first cabinet meeting of President Donald Trump's second term. During the wide-ranging question and answer session yesterday, Trump repeated numerous false claims that spanned a wide variety of topics, including aid to Ukraine, the history of the EU, inflation, mail-in voting, and drug overdose deaths. Presidential advisor and tech billionaire Elon Musk, who was neither elected nor confirmed by the Senate, took a prominent role in the meeting and spoke more than anyone else besides the president. Musk also signaled his intent to slash $1 trillion from the federal budget and vowed to be, quote unquote, more aggressive as the head of the, and I'm adding this, made-up Department of Government Efficiency. Well, it is. I mean, nobody confirmed that. So
no.
It also did not spend a lot of time on the fact that Republicans voted to cut Medicaid the night before in the House of Representatives. Turning to foreign aid, Chief Justice John Roberts actually last night, paused a court-imposed midnight deadline that would have required the Trump administration to release around $2 billion in frozen foreign aid, a goal the government has claimed it cannot meet. The emergency appeal marks the first time President Trump's efforts to drastically remake the federal government, including through deep cuts across government agencies, have reached the nation's highest court. The case appears likely to put the justices on a collision course with Trump's sweeping efforts to consolidate power with the executive branch. Health officials in Texas say the first death from a growing measles outbreak in the western part of the state was an unvaccinated school-aged child. It's the first measles death in the U.S. in at least 10 years. More than 120 confirmed measles cases have been linked to the outbreak in Lubbock, Texas, according to the Texas Department of Health Services. Most of the cases are in children between the ages of 5 to 17. Measles is an airborne illness that can cause rash, fever, red eyes, and cough. In severe cases, it can lead to blindness, pneumonia, and even death. The best way to stay protected against measles, guess what, Greg? Get vaccinated.
Oh, I was going to say, drink some weird dirt tea or something.
Chloroxylene or whatever the hell it is. Yeah.
Hydrochloroquine.
Yeah, that's it. What else can we tell you here this morning? In the Middle East, Israel will not withdraw its forces from the Gaza-Egypt border as would be required under a potential second phase of a ceasefire with Hamas, according to an Israeli source. Quote, "We will not allow Hamas murderers to roam again with trucks and rifles on our borders, and we will not let them strengthen themselves again through smuggling," the source told CNN, which, of course, is left out of the story, is that Donald Trump, on his Truth Social yesterday, and this is real, put out a 60-second post of video, an AI generated video, in which he refers to Gaza as Trump Gaza with gold statues of himself.
Gaza Largo, they called it.
Yeah, great, fantastic.
So
this is sad news this morning. I just saw this right before we came on the air. I'm a huge fan of Gene Hackman. Actor Gene Hackman and his wife Betsy were found dead in their home in New Mexico this morning, last night in Santa Fe County, the sheriff's office told CNN. Gene Hackman, 95 years old. Their cause of death has not been confirmed. Hackman was best known for his performance in the films The French Connection, Hoosiers, Unforgiven, and The Firm. I mean, he's 95, but I don't know, Greg. It's sad to me.
Him, his wife, and the dog. My guess is there was a gas leak of some sort. There had to have been. It's too tragic, too much at the same time. There has to be an explanation right now. So
yeah, I would certainly assume so. But wow, what an actor though! What a legend! Lots of great things. Great things ahead here. We'll come on back, talk a little more news of the day, update you on more weather and sports, and we have Brittany Merlot straight ahead as well. And today in music history, not going to want to miss it at Civic Media this morning on Civic Media's Radio Network.
When the sun is in your eyes, I see through your disguise all the games I see you play.
how's that TV coming along?
I'm trying to figure it out. You would think it keeps saying it's unsupported. But it clearly, all right, so there, start slideshow. No, I don't want a slideshow. Folders, maybe that's it. Or settings. Let's look at settings.
What would you like to talk about in the next segment?
The TV. Oh, no. What should we talk about here? Let's talk about U.S. Department of Education cuts funding for UW teacher training partnerships with Milwaukee Public Schools.
All right. I don't think I have a song about that, but we'll.
Sorry.
No worries.
Or maybe I got to go back to school.
Oh, my God. Did you just quote Grease 2?
Yes, I did.
Oh, my God.
Now look, see, of all the things, the only one that works apparently is Matt Nair on air. I think Jane she has thrown her shoes into the mill, the sabot. She's sabotaged.
For those who don't know, this is the secret show.
Yes, it is.
Oh, let's see here.
Preview not available. Shuffle. All right, let's go over here. Nope, can't do that. All right, shuffle off. We don't want to do the curly shuffle. No.
All right, I'm gonna go find some music, and I'm right back. All right.
All right, bye. Oops.
Back to school again.
Welcome back. Not to school. Well, maybe a little bit of school, but back to Civic Media this morning. I'm Todd Allbaugh here in Madison, the headquarters of Civic Media, along with Greg Bach in Racine and Kenosha at Radio City Rocket Park. How's the dancing down there this morning? Do you have to grease your legs before you go on the air down there?
Well, I mean, whether I'm on the air or not, it's usually there's. Let me just say this, Todd. They're slick and they're ready.
Fantastic. Stop on down and get a Kringle and feel Greg Bach's smooth legs. Racine this morning. Thank goodness Pat Kreitlow will be back tomorrow. He will take back over control of his show and never let me back on the air again for him. He is back along with Up North News tomorrow here on this very time slot. It is right now 6:35 here in Wisconsin on a on-time Thursday morning for the most part. Check your local listings, but it appears there are no major road delays or school closings across the state of Wisconsin. Looking for temperatures today in the high 40s, perhaps a low 50 here or there. Brittany Merlot will be in just after the top of the hour with your complete weather forecast detail, but overall, a nice late winter day. Greg, spring is right around the corner. I mean, we're like 3 weeks away officially from spring.
I know. I cannot wait. I love springtime. It's hitting us. Let's see here. We got. Oh my God! I go to the bank today because it's February, so the month is short. Todd, there's so much going on.
There's so much going on.
You got 21 days until spring. If you want to count today, 22 days, and a week from Sunday. a week from Sunday, we're springing forward those clocks. I don't care about your opinion. It's happening regardless. So spring those clocks forward and keep your opinions to yourself.
I listened to you and Jane talk about it, and all I'm going to tell you is when we turn the clocks back in the fall, it's the Monday after is my favorite day of the year. Really? And when we spring forward in the spring, the Monday is my least favorite day because my body, it takes a while for my body to think, but I'm a big light person, so.
Okay, but that's surprising that when we spring forward, it's your least favorite day?
Yeah, because I lose an hour of sleep.
But you get more light. You said you're a light person.
Right, but I still lose an hour of sleep. And so I gain it, and then it takes me, and I don't get it back until whatever it is now, late November, I think.
Go to bed an hour early.
It's my internal clock, Greg.
Oh, okay.
I'm like,
we're gonna go back to school.
Right. All right, thank you for keeping me on track. Speaking of school, here's a little something that came out last week, and it went fairly unnoticed. But I think, again, as we look at what's happening in Washington, D.C., and we think, well, how is it going to affect, how are these things actually going to affect us here in Wisconsin? I think it's just good to pause and reflect and talk about it. So here, some great reporting from our great student journalist. I shouldn't even say student journalists. They're just journalists at the Badger Herald here at the University of Wisconsin-Madison. Headline, U.S. Department of Education cuts funding for UW teacher training partnerships with Milwaukee Public Schools. Subheadline, Trump administration cancels over $600 million in teacher quality partnership grants at universities across the country, including, guess where, UW. In the story, you can find this at thebadgerherald.com. Says the University of Wisconsin special education professors Kimber Wilkerson and Beverly Terzic founded the UW-Madison Teacher Residency Program in 2023 with support from a Teacher Quality Partnership Grant, or TQP grant, a program developed by the U.S. Department of Education to fund teacher education and teaching residency programs in high-need school districts across the country. So let me put this down a little bit where the chickens could get at it. This is a great program because we are already short of educators in this state and in this country, and we're even shorter, a lack of special education teachers for our special needs kids. And a reminder that in our public schools, they do not get to pick and choose which students they take. They have to, by law, as it should be, I might add, they have to take all students. That is not the case with private schools. So here's a program that said, hey, let's have a grant to train teachers for our special needs kids in particular, and in particular in areas that are really, really short of teachers and that are struggling, such as Milwaukee Public Schools. So these teacher quality partnership grants, it was planned as a 3-year program, three of the cohorts, at a total of 36 students serving 14-month terms, taking UW courses online and in person, and teaching special education full-time under the mentorship of a veteran teacher at a Milwaukee Public School. So see, it gets even better. So not only have you got 36 people in this program over 14 months, they are going to be paired with a veteran teacher in the Milwaukee Public Schools. And we hear all the time about, all Milwaukee Public Schools are failing, they're terrible, they get beat up pretty bad. We were there with Pat Kreitlow and Up North News Radio a little over a year ago. We did both of our shows, special broadcast from Milwaukee South, a high school, public school down there. Turned out we found a lot of success, and we found a lot of great things going on. As it turns out, most, if not all, school districts, everybody has some problems. Milwaukee's has certainly been more acute over the years. They had to get rid of their superintendent because there was things going on there that shouldn't have been. They've had financial problems like that. I'm all for doing audits and finding out what's going wrong, and if people are guilty of crimes or malfeasance, get rid of them. But you can't just lump everybody into the same bag here. And there's a lot of teachers, a lot of educators, a lot of administrators, and in particular students and parents who are doing great things in Milwaukee Public Schools, and here's this program that's helping out special needs kids in Milwaukee Public Schools. Participants, back to this Badger Herald story, participants would graduate with a master's degree in special education and an agreement to continue working with MPS for the next 3 years. The first cohort was set to wrap up in this summer of 2025. I'm going to skip down here because I'm going to paraphrase. They basically got a letter, this program, on February 12th, so this month, from the Federal Education Department announcing its termination of the grant that same day. So here we go, another example of if you're going to, I'll give them the word reform. That's not exactly what I would call it, but reform, cut, / government. There are ways to do that, whether you or I or anyone else agrees with those cuts. There are humane, compassionate ways to do that. I've seen that firsthand in my time in government, both at the state and federal level. These folks in the Trump-Musk administration are doing anything but cutting this program the same day that they announced it. The letter deemed the program was not in alignment with the Federal Department of Education's current priorities, specifically due to its, and quoting the letter now, emphasis on diversity, equity, and inclusion, unquote. The ironic thing, or maybe just interesting, the partnership, turns out, is not, in fact, a DEI program. It is not focused on any particular identity group, according to Wilkerson, one of the administrators. But it is a grant proposal articulated that the program's goal of recruiting from as diverse a group of applicants as possible, which could, keyword could, have been perceived as contradicting the new Trump's Education Department's current interpretation of discrimination, which includes the targeting of specific groups in hiring. So again, to put this down there a little bit, the program basically said, look, we want to get as many different kinds of folks as we can in this program. And we've seen this on our show, Noon to 2. We've had on our friend and now departed here a couple months ago, passed away, our dear friend and former Senate Majority Leader, Democrat from Janesville, Tim Cullen, who, after he left the state Senate, well, actually part of while he was still in it, he created a foundation. He did very well in the health sector after he left government, before he came back for one more stint. He and his wife were very blessed, and he took that wealth and he got other people to put into it. He created scholarship programs that gave full rides to about a dozen kids in Rock County, which is just below Madison along the state-Illinois border there, where you have Janesville and Beloit. Those are the two biggest cities, Evansville. And so Senator Cullen's scholarship took and still takes, it lives on into perpetuity. It takes about 12 students and says, if you pledge to come back and teach it's either 3 or 5 years after, I think 5 years after you graduate, if you'll come back to Rock County, we'll pay a full ride. And many minority kids are taking advantage of that. And if you talk to the Beloit and Janesville public schools, it has been a huge success. Because guess what? When kids have educators and counselors and coaches who look like them, who have gone through their experience, it's more relatable. And they listen. And education actually rises, increases. Funny how that works, isn't it? So this program at Milwaukee Public Schools, it wasn't a quote-unquote DEI program, to quote Jerry Seinfeld. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but it's not a DEI program. It just said, hey, we want to get as many different kinds of folks as we can into this program so our special needs kids can relate. And the Trump administration took that and deemed it a DEI program and canceled it without warning. Back to the Badger Herald story. Terminations like these threaten to make people feel like the field of special education has the potential to be undermined, Wilkerson said. She is telling students that regardless of whatever changes there are in the Department of Education federally, there will always be students with disabilities who need additional support and specialized instruction. Wilkerson stressed that the significance of public pushback to these cuts, as she said, this has historically pressured federal officials to change their stance on some issues. Greg, we've seen this already. Town halls for Congressman Scott Fitzgerald, Congressman Glenn Grothman, where public officials have come out. And the public has come out, voters. This is another story, and kudos to the Badger Herald for writing the story and focusing on it, because I didn't hear about it a lot of other places. But it's another example when we see this stuff or hear this stuff on national news, and you see Elon Musk running around with a faux chainsaw. Those actions, it's actually impacting us right here in Wisconsin.
Absolutely. And luckily, the people are coming out to tell their elected representatives they're not happy about it either.
Yeah, they really aren't.
But what's unfortunate is that I don't think these elected officials are going to go back out there and take any more of that. They're probably going to stay home, do a selected listening session. It's just not going to be that they're not going to listen. They're not going to sit there and be booed by their constituents, which sometimes they need to be, so they know what's going on.
Yeah, the only person I could see continuing to do it in the Wisconsin delegation, because I know a lot of these people from my time. For those listen to this network, I used to be a Republican, left the party in 2011, but I sat in a lot of meetings during Act 10 when Glenn Grothman was a state senator. He's wired different, but he actually enjoys it. Like he actually enjoys just mulling around, and if people yell at him, he'll take it for a little while, listen, then kind of move on.
Yeah.
So I could actually see Glenn continuing town halls. I'm not sure we'll see Congressman Fitzgerald or Congressman Tiffany. I know Congressman Van Orden is refusing to do town halls, which is a whole nother kettle of fish, or a bottle of wine, or a bottle of gin, or whatever he's drinking at 3 a.m. For those that do have town halls, go out, be respectful in terms of no violence or anything like that. But yes, as Greg said, let your voices be heard. These people are elected to serve and represent all of us, regardless of their party affiliation. So hopefully voices can be raised in this program that involves Milwaukee Public Schools and University of Wisconsin system as well can be restored, because we need more great educators, particularly as we celebrate our Public Schools Week here on Civic Media and Up North News. We're coming up on a break. Come back and take a look at Today in History. You're not going to want to miss it. Little music as well. Then Brittany Merlot, it's Greg, it's Todd, Civic Media Mornings on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Back to school again.
All right.
Gracias.
De nada. All right. Got some music. Rock and roll.
Rock and roll.
All right, I'll see you in a little bit.
All right.
Party time! Get up! Hey now, everybody! In the Union Hall!
Welcome back to Civic Media this morning. Todd Allbaugh along with Greg Bach, filling in for vacation in Pat Kreitlow and Up North News Radio, which will return mañana. That's tomorrow for those who don't speak Espanol. That's Spanish. Welcome back in. Glad to have you. That's a little chubby checker time once again now at 6:51 on a Thursday morning, 27th of February, to check today in history. Quick check of weather. Temperature still holding steady this morning across the state of Wisconsin. Mid-30s, upper 30s right now. Looking for highs in the mid to upper 40s, maybe a 50-degree temperature here and there. Brittany Merlot in a bit. But right now, today in history, February 27th, on this date in 1961, the music Greg is playing right now, Little Pony Time by the one, the only Chubby Checker, hit #1 and held on for 5 weeks. In 1960, Smokey Robinson and the Miracles made their first TV appearance singing on American Bandstand. Oh,
Wow.
what better? Dick Clark, American Bandstand. All right. 1971, on this date, 1971, the Janis Joplin, also known as the Janis Joplin album, Pearl, was the new #1 album and would top the charts for 9 weeks.
Dang.
How about 9 weeks? She never saw this success as she died of a heroin overdose 3 months before the album was released.
All right.
So, sad but true. All right, moving on. February 27th, on this date in 1980, Michael Jackson won his first Grammy, Best R&B Performance for Don't Stop Till You Get Enough.
You can't not dance when you hear this song.
I know he has a checkered past, but you cannot deny the man is a musical genius.
Well,
he was.
Off the Wall is an amazing record. And
Yeah.
It's my favorite Michael Jackson record. I
Is
like
it
it more
really?
than Thriller.
Wow. Well, look at you. Very good. All right. A little Michael Jackson for you here. Also, celebrating a birthday today, 1954, born 1950. He's now 71 years old, Neil Schon. After spending time as a guitarist in Santana, he went on to found the bands Bad English and Journey. This is some of his solo from Journey's I'll Be All Right Without You.
That right there, folks, is the 80s.
Feathered hair, bell-bottom pants, parachute pants, right there. Fantastic. All right. Also, in 1922, a challenge to the 19th Amendment to the United States Constitution allowing women the right to vote was rejected by the Supreme Court. Coming up it was rejected. No, it was a good thing. It was a challenge to the women's right to vote.
I said, thank God it was.
I think you said, oh, God.
No.
On this date next year in 2026, the Supreme Court will uphold that challenge to women's right to vote.
That voting gets in the way of them. It's like, all right, that's what I thought.
In 2015, recent history, Russian politician Boris Nemtsov, a public critic of Vladimir Putin, is assassinated in Moscow while walking out with his girlfriend. Yeah, I know. If you're anti-Putin these days, don't spend too much time in buildings over 2 stories high. That little practical advice here for you.
Don't go in planes. Don't go for walks. Don't just stand around.
Yeah, exactly. All right, this is. I don't know if it's controversial, but born on this date in 1981, now 44 years old, Josh Groban. Here's a little bit of Joshy and You Raise Me Up.
You raise me up so
And if you right now, like, women over 50 are like, what? What? I'm hearing Joshy. I love that song.
Women over 50?
I don't know. I just feel like there's women over a certain age love this song. It's not a dig. That's just an observation. It's science. That's what I think. You should play it at your wedding. It's going to be a nice wedding.
I'm not marrying a woman over 50. Okay, this is very funny. This is fantastic because all right, what is your take on Josh Groban?
Oh, Josh. Okay, let me tell you my love for Josh Groban.
Really?
I am okay. First of all, I'm going to be honest. Not familiar with his whole catalog.
All right.
I very much know this song because I was alive in the 2 years following the song's release because it was everywhere.
Right.
But I love that he has a great attitude about himself. He doesn't take himself. This voice and this song can be sung by someone who thinks they are like the greatest thing to music. And he's very good, but he also self-deprecating, very funny, very just down to earth about who he is as like he's Josh Groban, but he's also Josh, you know? Like I've seen him in so many comedy shows where he's just
really,
you know,
he does comedy.
Oh yeah, he poking fun of. He was on a TV show with Tony Danza on TBS a couple of years ago too, I think.
Really missed that one, all 5 episodes.
Yeah, what do you think of him? Hey,
I think he's enormously talented.
Yeah.
I couldn't hold a candle to his musical abilities. I just think that he is obsessed. He wants to be Neil Patrick Harris.
Whoa.
And he never will be.
Well,
Because he wants to be please like me, please think I'm cool. He used to guest host on Regis and Kathy Lee or Kelly Lee or whatever her name is. And I mean, he just wants to be a normal, liked, funny guy. And he tries too hard. And he just, I mean, he's talented, enormously talented. I think he tries too hard.
okay, that's cool. I think he seems like a good guy to me, but you know, hey, he looks like he'd buy you a cup of coffee and be like, here.
You know, and he probably would.
Yeah.
I don't mean to be hating. I'm just giving you my opinion. But
That's fine.
anyway, we're going to come back and we're going to make toast with Brittany Merlot and talk to her. It'll be fantastic. And Luke Mathers is in later with his four-legged friends and a conversation with Mike Johnson, superintendent of Eau Claire Public Schools. That's all ahead on Civic Media this morning, right here on the Civic Media Network.
More than I can be.
I did not think it was. I thought like at the very. I thought we were going to share the same opinion on Josh Groban. You're taking deep,
like
baby.
I mean, I shouldn't say I don't like him. It's just all too dramatic. He's too dramatic. He's too when he sings, and it's like he wants to be Neil Patrick Harris and Michael Bublé combined. And
But it's funny you say that because Michael Bublé, Neil Patrick Harris, and they all take their craft seriously, but I don't feel like they'd walk into him and be like, "Do not look me in the eyes. You refer to me as Mr. Groban."
I just think it from Michael Bublé and especially Neil Patrick Harris. I think that kind of ease and whatever comes naturally. I just don't buy this natural with Josh Groban. But maybe that's completely me, just my perception.
I feel like you're just jealous of him. It's just, maybe you're jealous of the great Josh Groban.
The great Josh Groban. Yes, that's it. I'm jealous. I want to be Josh Groban.
You heard it here, folks, on The Secret Show.
I also thought he was older than 44, if you want to know the truth.
I'm always amazed when I find out that I'm older than like celebrities. I think, I don't know how old he was.
I would have said like close to 50.
Wow. That I knew wasn't the truth. I knew I was older than him.
But don't tell Josh Groban that. All right, I'm going to use the facility and be back.
All right, see ya.
Did you know that WMDX, you were on WMDX for our first, 45 minutes? What? Yeah, it's some damn thing they screwed up last night on the air. Yeah. So, yeah. In fact,
Why
yeah.
didn't you tell? I would have said
We
something.
didn't know, but we were on the
I would have
screen.
said hey, we're sorry,
It
John.
was just over the air. It was not on the screen. We were on our screen.
Is it fixed now?
It's fixed now. They just fixed it 10 minutes ago. So you were, and we're getting messages like, why is Todd on the air? Where's John and Gordy?
Oh my God.
So, just so you know, the engineering.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry.
Fixed it.
How did that? Because
How is it possible? Yeah.
I'm not hardwired into anything at MDX.
We don't.
Right.
I don't know.
Well, last night it was an issue. They were taking the transmitter feeds from the app, which is supposed to be a backup, but they were supposed to switch it last night. Except when they switched it, they thought they fixed it, but they didn't.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Good morning, Brittany Malo.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing well. Yourself?
Pretty good. Thanks.
All right, we're coming back in a little. Well, we could ask you. We could ask you your thoughts on the show itself. But
What's that?
her thoughts on Mr. Groban.
Who?
You'll find out.
Oh gosh.
It's not a trick. Don't worry.
Oh gosh.
Okay.
Yes, it's a trick. Let's see if we can stump Brittany.
Let's see here. All right, 10 seconds.
All right.
Good day, sunshine. Good day, sunshine. Good day, sunshine. I need to laugh.
And welcome back to Civic Media this morning. Hour number 2, Todd Allbaugh here in Madison, along with Mr. Greg Bach in Racine and Kenosha. It is 6 minutes past sex. It's 6 minutes past the hour of 7 o'clock. Welcome to Sexting in the Morning on Civic Media. It's 6 minutes past the hour of 7 o'clock here on Thursday, February 27th. Kreitlow is on vacation down in Zona, Arizona. He'll be back tomorrow.
Work trip.
It was so-called work trip for Mr. Kreitlow. He'll be back along with Up North News Radio coming up here tomorrow. So be here for that. We're keeping you company, informed, involved, and in touch here on a Thursday morning here on Civic Media. Glad to have you along. Coming up a little bit. Where's my coffee, Greg Bach? Good Lord.
Take a deep breath. It's Thursday. Start again.
Thank you. Coming up at 7:34 this morning, we will talk with Mr. Mike Johnson, who is the superintendent of Eau Claire Public Schools, along with Trygve Olson, senior advisor to the Lincoln Project. The two grew up in River Falls, and talk a little education, talk about the implications of immigration policy being made in D.C. and how that affects schools here in the Wisconsin area, and celebrate Wisconsin Public Schools Week. Find out what's happening in Eau Claire Public Schools coming up at 7:34. Also, Luke Mathers joining us at around 10 till 8 with his puppers. We'll explain about that in a minute. But right now, we are joined, as Pat and Greg are every morning, by the lovely, the talented Brittany Merlot, our wonderful meteorologist. Brittany, how the heck are you?
I'm pretty good. How are you doing, Todd?
I'm great. I am great. Thank you very much. It's been a morning. I got a new TV. I can't get to work behind me, so it's just a blank screen. Turns out much like my brain. And so anyway, we're just chilling out here. But the important thing is that we really want to get your opinion on here. We talked about today music history today, and Josh Groban turns 44 today. What are your feelings on Josh Groban?
I have no idea who that is.
Yes, you do.
Who is Josh Groban?
Wow.
Hold on.
We're so old, Greg. We're so old.
No, I will. You guys take a moment. I will bring the song
All right.
back up.
All
You
right.
know this
Greg's-
song, Brittany. You've heard this song.
Okay. I'm really bad with who sings what song. So
that's
you
fine.
found my weak spot. Okay.
Well, no, it's fine because Greg is shedding tears over Josh Groban every time he hears it. It makes him melt. Makes Greg melt.
Oh.
And I'm kind of
I like
I'm
the
kind of
song.
indifferent. I just think he wants to be Neil Patrick Harris or Michael Bublé. And Josh Groban, a very talented individual in his own way. Don't get me wrong.
All right,
More
here we go.
talent. All right, here we go. Josh Groban.
Why is it not? Oh, I know it because sometimes
It's hooked up to the
technology
TV.
is stupid.
Here we go. Josh Groban, take 2.
Josh Groban, take 2. Why is that?
Anyway,
Wait for it.
he's a singer.
Wait for it.
He's a
He's
singer.
All right. Well, anyway, I guess.
we go.
Really? For real? All right.
You raise me up so I can stand on mountains.
Yeah. You feel like the king or queen of the world, all right?
I need the
Brittany,
wind.
You've never heard this song before?
No. I have not. I must have been in a movie or something.
I'm done with all of you. You don't know culture. You don't know good things.
I'm sorry.
All right,
Greg, I'm
that
sorry.
was beautiful. That was well done. All right, well, we're gonna talk. Let's do a little today in history at 10 past the hour 7 before we get into some weather. That was the best part of the morning so far. Make that into a promo. I have no idea.
Nobody respects the. I don't for legal reasons.
All right. We're going to talk more about this with Luke Mathers a little bit later this hour on a Thursday. But get this, guys. It's National Small Dog Day. And you have to pronounce it dog. National Small Dog Day. It's the last Thursday in February. It's National Small Dog, and especially dedicated to celebrating the small dogs in the pack. Their mighty personalities as well. Now, you might ask, what constitutes a small dog? It's a dog that weighs 20 pounds or less and falls under the small dog or toy dog breed category. How about that? Have either of you had small dogs?
My dog is not. She does not qualify for that weight class. She is. She's a bantamweight dog. She'll come out fighting, and her theme song, Josh Groban, you raised me up.
Yes.
Do you have a dog, Brittany?
I do not. No.
Did you ever have one
I'm not
growing
home
up?
enough to take care of one, which I have to be responsible about, you know?
Right, exactly. I grew up with a miniature schnauzer. Schnauzer, yeah. Her name was Daphne Suzanne. I named her after Daphne in Scooby-Doo. It's true. So yeah, she was a small dog. I'm very excited about this. Now, we don't often do cooking programs on the radio. We only have. Is anybody even watching this stream? I'm not sure.
Yes, they
but-
are. We got
very good.
people.
Oh, fantastic. I have brought in my toaster this morning because why, you ask?
No.
Because it's, would you believe, National Toast Day, honoring the humble slice on this last Thursday in February. But it's also so very versatile. It carries a multitude of jams and jellies and marmalades and fruit compotes. I like that word, compote. But we don't stop there. Toast transports proteins and veggies, sprouts, and soaks up sauces and drippings. So here now, I went shopping right here. I brought.
Oh
I
my
don't
God.
normally get this. I brought
For
in
the
some
record, Brittany,
brioche.
I did not know he was going to do
I
this.
have some
is crazy. I love it.
brioche. Do you guys? I like a good brioche. I don't often do it, and I was actually going to make French.
Whatever, Madison.
That's fair. I was going to make French toast this morning, but I went last night to the grocery store. Eggs, $25 a dozen in Madison. I couldn't believe it. So I said, that's not going to happen. Now, I'll probably get in trouble. I go to Clausen's Bakery in Madison for a fine wheat toast. So you got your brioche and you got your wheat, and we're gonna. All right, it's toast. Oh, turn it up. And then for toppings today, what do you guys like on your toast?
I enjoy. Oh, but okay. I
What?
enjoy butter or a jam, not a jelly, whatever. But I like a good jam, like a preserves.
I've got a strawberry and rhurbarb spread from Rose Cottage here in
sounds
Cambria,
amazing.
Wisconsin.
That sounds awesome.
I love a good raspberry, or pardon me, strawberry and rhubarb jam. And then I know this is controversial, but peanut butter, I like good old Jif.
He's already got that
Boy.
one open, just so you know. That one's got the cap off. He's ready to go.
Yes. Todd really making waves with his peanut butter choices in the morning.
Well, I mean, what do you use for peanut butter, Greg Bach?
Oh, I'll use whatever. Like I'm not a peanut butter snob. Like the Jif, the Jiffy, the Peter Pan. I don't care.
Peter Pan.
But I'm a crunchy
I forgot
boy.
it was a peanut butter.
I'm a crunchy boy.
Yeah, I know. I'm a smooth guy.
Brittany, where are you on the peanut butter wars?
Crunchy, 100%.
Yeah, that's right. While you're doing that, while you're toasting your soon-to-be toast, also known as bread, I got this from Laura in Rapids. Josh Groban is a king among men. He's a musical theater pro. He's done Broadway shows. How dare you?
I'm sorry.
Thank you, Laura from Rapids.
All right. Well, he's very talented. I'm not trying to take anything away from his talent. It's just some people, that you click with them and some you don't. I don't know. Well, enough. I don't want to beat up on Josh Groban. All right. What else today? It's a National Retro Day. Now here, Brittany, I feel like you could get behind this. National Retro Day takes us back to a time before smartphones and the internet. Every generation looks back and asks, remember when? The celebration indulges our love for the good old days while remaining in the present. No matter the decade, pick a point in time where people talked more face-to-face than text-to-text, had dinner at home around a table, and the kids played games that didn't require the internet.
There's a whole party in Washington who wants to go back to those days.
Leave it to Beaver.
Brittany, I do not know your age. I've never asked. I will never ask. But do you have is there pre-internet in your memory?
Oh, yes, absolutely. I mean, I had pagers back in the day, no internet, or that when you got the internet, it was that dial-up, that AOL thing. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Pretty old.
and then those three magical words. You've got mail. All right.
Yes. But you're I would consider you a person of fashion and coolness, Brittany. Now, like my nieces, they love to shop at the thrift stores. They love to find vintage clothing. Do you ever participate in that, or any of your friends?
You know what? I haven't done it too much, but my best friend does that. She'll go to thrift stores and she'll flip things. She'll make them trendy again, resell them. She's all into that vibe. So I definitely am close to people like that.
Greg, are you a thrifter?
No.
Yeah.
No.
I
There's
do.
a certain milieu about thrifting when you are a big guy that's just not as fashionable.
Okay, very good. Oh, look, the toast is up. The toast is done.
While you're doing the
did you
toast,
hear that?
Brittany, why don't you give
look
us
at
the
that.
weather?
Look at that. Look at that brownness on that brioche. That just a little bit of here. Listen to this. Now that's some crunchy toast. That's fantastic.
What the heck?
Right? I mean, who makes French toast on the radio? Only here, folks, on Civic Media this morning. All right, Brittany, give us the weather. What's going on? What's popping?
Oh, toast is popping right now. Otherwise, we are looking at a cloudy day today. We've got a few flurries that are going to be flying into northeast parts of the state, a few scattered showers towards Lake Michigan, but nothing major. These are just little sprinkles moving through the area this afternoon. We'll see more sunshine into the southwest areas of the state, and highs today still staying mild. We will hit 40 degrees for most of us. And of course, Upper 30s, far north into Wausau and northern areas. That'll be a breezy one, too. Winds are going to be gusting up to 30 miles per hour today. And then they're going to whip up to 40 tomorrow. So we could see some power outages, tree limbs coming down. That'll be the main problem as we go through the next 24 hours.
Where is that at?
All across the state. We're looking
All
at...
across that. I did not know we were going to get that much wind.
Yeah, so it'll start to whip to about 30 miles per hour today. Tomorrow, 40 mile per hour. So I wouldn't be
I
shocked
love it when
if
you
we
say
see some
whip,
high
by
wind
the way.
warnings.
On our show, we have a whip. Like every time you say it, we crack the whip.
That's
I love
awesome.
it.
Yes.
I think it's fair. Now, this is serious, though, because people that have large trees, big oak trees and whatnot, I mean, this could cause a lot of damage, so we got to be prepared for this.
Yes, and you think about it, the ground is saturated and soggy and wet right now, too. So it could make some of those trees, the smaller ones, too, come down as well. So just keep an eye out for that. But otherwise, I mean, we're looking at some sunshine and a beautiful weekend ahead, just a little cooler.
Oh, my gosh. What are the temperatures for the weekend, more or less?
Well, we're looking at actually staying below freezing on Saturday and then the low 30s on Sunday.
Ooh, very nice. All right. Well, that's good. Excuse me, here we have a beautiful piece of toast. It's National Happy Toast Day, Brittany, and thank you for a great weather forecast.
You're welcome.
Have a great day. Come on back. We'll make more toast and more fun. It's the Civic Media This Morning show with Greg and Todd and Brittany and whoever else wants to stop by. Come on back.
Loving me.
I don't even know. What is that line? There's a line for a movie. That's great. Oh, you're like that's great toast. Like
That's gonna Will Ferrell. Yeah, wouldn't it be great? Is that great toast?
all right, Brittany, I take it you're out of here. All right, we'll see you
guys are the
later.
best. Love ya.
Bye.
Love you guys back. Bye. What do you want to talk about in the next section?
Toast.
Oh, more toast. All right,
I
more
don't
toast.
care. We didn't get to Onomatopoeia Day. No, Anosmia Day. We can talk about Anosmia Day if you want. It's also
boy.
I'm not a Pokemon guy. Are you a Pokemon guy?
No.
Neither am I. We'll talk more about the days and update the weather or I don't know, a little news.
I'll do a Rob's weather report too. So.
Oh yeah, sorry, you got to do Rob's. Sorry, Rob. I got talking about toast and we skipped over you. My apologies.
All right. Going back in one.
I'm burning the toast. Oh my god.
That was the other Gene Hackman movie we didn't talk about.
Burn the goddamn toast.
Watch the language, bud.
We're on the stream.
That's another movie we didn't talk about though with Gene Hackman, The Birdcage.
Oh my god, the fire alarms are gonna go off.
Just dive over it. Just dive over it.
I wanted to get a little bit more done. I forgot about it.
Oh god.
All right, put that over there.
I pierced the toast. All right. Okay, we're coming back. We're coming back in 10 seconds.
Oh,
Get a hold of yourself.
Welcome back to Civic Media This Morning. I'm Todd Allbaugh in with Greg Bach. We are filling in for Pat Kreitlow and Up North News Radio. That is a song that will get you up and get you going on a Thursday morning, the 27th of February. Greg, what did you dial up?
This is a song called Tokyo Calling by a J-pop band called Adachi Gakko. It is an amazing video. I love this band so much.
That's fantastic. Well, anything that prompted you to play that song?
When I can't think of a song that's like properly in line with the theme of what we're going to talk about, I just play this one just to get you going. Like,
oh yeah, I like that because a lot of people are up exercising this time of morning or out running, jogging. Well, that's great. That's great.
Yeah.
Very good. Welcome back. Glad to have you along. 22 minutes now past the hour, 7 o'clock after the bottom of the hour news and weather and sports update. Going to be talking with Mike Johnson, Superintendent of Eau Claire Public Schools, and Trygve Olson, Senior Advisor at the Lincoln Project, celebrating Public Schools Week. Always great to talk about our great public schools all across Wisconsin, and Mike Johnson will be in to do just that. We thank Brittany Merlot for being here and putting up with our silliness because it's National Toast Day. Yes, that's a real thing. And I brought in my toaster and I toasted up. It came out beautifully. A slice of brioche, toast. Here, listen to that. Listen to the crunch, even with strawberry rhubarb jam on it.
Oh, that sounds amazing. There it is. Oh, that's a crunch.
Now, I had some wheat toast from Clausen's Bakery. And I'm like, well, I want it to get just a little bit more done. And I put it back in the toaster, and then Brittany did her I got into the forecast, and look, I burnt the darn toast, and I'm worried that I might have set off the fire alarms. So, which is a way for Todd to get a date. So I'm looking forward to that being carried out by a firefighter. Anyway, but we got so much into the toast, we forgot about Rob and Tigerton's forecast there. Greg, please fill us in.
He said, "Good." He says, "Good morning." This is Rob from Tigerton, of course. Rob, good morning from Tigerton. Cloudy and 34 degrees. We had a spectacular sunset last night by my sister Lori's house in Caroline. She made me brats for supper.
Ooh.
Goes on to say, a year ago today in Tigerton, it was 70 degrees. Wow. Then followed by a huge temperature drop to 12 degrees the next morning. Yeah, February is probably the most unpredictable month in Wisconsin. It could have 70, you could have 11, you could have snow, you could have a heat wave. It's ridiculous. He also goes on to say, talking about what you were discussing in the first hour, he says he's against cuts to special education. I hold so to the heart because I needed special education to make it to school, and I'm a strong proponent for special education, and everyone has talents regardless of abilities. That's why I hold special education teachers dear to my heart. So thank you so much, Rob, for getting in touch with us. And thank you for sharing that with us. We appreciate you so much.
100%, Rob. And I'm right there with you. I went through a lot of special title. They called them at the time like Title IX or Title I classes for reading and for math in particular. Mm-hmm. And most of my time in school, they say, well, Todd's lazy, or he's just not smart. He has a low IQ. Turns out I found out in college. I finally got diagnosed with dyslexia. So I can relate, Rob. Went through a lot of what would be considered, at least at the time, quote unquote, special education programs, and everybody has their own gifts and talents, and sometimes it's just a matter of unlocking those gifts and talents. And we need teachers and educators who are trained to find that, because everybody is gifted. It's just a matter of how you bring that out. So thanks, Rob. I appreciate you sharing that, Greg.
Completely agree with that. 100%. Yeah.
So in addition to National Toast Day, which I'm not sure if anything could be sexier than National Toast Day, but we do have a couple other days here on the docket, and I had to look up. Here's the word: ANOSMIA, Awareness Day. I'm like, it's not asomnia. It's not. And so I had to look it up. It's Anosmia Day. Have you heard of this, Greg?
No, but I'm looking it up right now. It's
National Anosmias Awareness Day. And I'm like, what is that, by the way? And it turns out it's people who have a loss of smell. And it's a condition ranging, a long-ranging loss of smell of all our senses. Smell perhaps is taken for granted more than any other. There are many causes of anosmia. The most common reasons are due to upper respiratory or sinus nasal infections and diseases. We've all experienced a cold or allergy that temporarily prevented us from smelling. However, other conditions cause a permanent or long-term loss of the sense. When anosmia symptoms are prolonged or lifelong, many anosmatics do not enjoy the flavor of foods, the scent of an infant, or other senses of smell, such as an early warning system for danger, like when you burn your toast. But I guess I kind of knew this was a thing, but you just forget about it. But anosmia is a person who has lost their sense of smell, and I would agree, Greg. Yes or no to you? I think it's a sense that goes way undervalued, and I really learned more about it when I had my coffee business. I learned more about coffee, and so much of our food and our drink, what we think of as quote unquote taste, it's actually our smell.
Yeah, I mean, right now I'm actually going through something of, like, looking at my sinuses and my sleep patterns and whatnot, and I've noticed that, like, they put something called Afrin in my nose on Monday, and my nasal passages opened up to the point where, like, I could smell everything. It was
Really?
I didn't realize how blocked they were for so long and how much that affects, like, just the world you take in. But yeah, it was she shot it up my nose, and I'm like, I just started breathing. I'm like, oh my gosh. She goes, you breathing like you never breathed before. I'm like, yes. So my heart goes out to people who suffer from that terrible, terrible affliction.
Yeah, National Anosmia Awareness Day. That's why we have awareness days to make people more aware. So, yeah, if you if you're going through that, we're thinking of you today, and be aware that not everybody has that sense of smell that we too often take for granted.
Yeah.
28 minutes now past the hour of 7 o'clock. Temperatures range from upper 30s to around 40 degrees. Brittany Merlot says, and expect highs in the upper 40s to around 50 degrees, but some very windy conditions. Beyond just windy, it's going to be gusts at 30, 40 miles per hour. Brittany says, be aware some small limbs or larger limbs on older trees could be susceptible to coming down on power lines. So just be aware of that. Going to be batten down the hatches, as they say. Also, if you drive one of those higher vehicles, an RV, a camper, a 18-wheeler, that sort of thing, a straight line truck, can make driving very difficult as well. So some high winds could be going across the state in the next 24 to 40 hours. We're going to come back on the other side of this break, take a quick pause for your local news around the state of Wisconsin, and also sports with Mike Clemens, our great sports reporter, a quick check of weather, and then back with Mike Johnson, the superintendent of public of schools in the Eau Claire School District, and Trygve Olson from the Lincoln Project. Don't miss it. Come on back. It's Civic Media This Morning with Greg, Todd, and you right here on the Civic Media Radio Network.
All right. So I got the clip. I'll play it,
Cool.
and we're good to go.
Yep, it should be timed out. So just instead of hitting any music, you just hit that. It has the music in it. I don't mention my show. I just say 34 past the hour.
Perfect.
I go into the interview, and then at the end of it, I just say stay tuned back after this. I don't.
Great.
So it should be completely self-contained.
All right. I will see you at 51 then.
We'll talk dogs.
We'll talk dogs. You got a small dog? I like that small dog. Let me pet that small dog. He's a cute small dog. I just think of that line from Parks and Rec where they're asking Ron about dogs, and he goes, ditch the schnauzer and get yourself a big dog. Or get yourself a Labrador. Any dog under 50 pounds is a cat, and cats are pointless.
That's really funny.
All right, I'll see you in a bit.
All right, thanks. Welcome back, everybody. It is now 34 minutes past the hour here. Glad to have you along with us on this beautiful day here in Wisconsin, all across Wisconsin. Joining us, the senior advisor of the Lincoln Project, former River Falls boy. You can take the boy out of River Falls, but you can't take River Falls out of the boy. Trygve Olson, now a senior advisor to the Lincoln Project, and our special guest in this segment, Mike Johnson, who is the superintendent of public schools in the one, the only, the beautiful Eau Claire School District there in Northwest Wisconsin as well. Mike, thanks so much for coming on today, and on rather short notice, but Trygve sent his minion, me, to book you, his friend, and I appreciate you saying yes.
Hey, I'm so glad for the invitation, and as always, Trygve and Todd, whenever you call, I'm always interested if I'm available. So yeah, more than happy to. Really excited to talk. It's Public Schools Week, and it's a great week for us.
It really is, and my whole family are educators. I'm fond of this, but for you folks, and not just Eau Claire, but for public educators across the state of Wisconsin, what does this mean to you as administrators, to your teachers, to your students, and how are you celebrating that?
It's really, it's a thankful time in Eau Claire. Just one example, we've got a very active retiree group, but also some community members with the Wisconsin Public Education Network. And we've got signs at all our schools celebrating, promoting Public Schools Week. We love our public schools here in Wisconsin. And, Monday morning in the snowbanks, now they're no longer in the snowbanks, but Monday morning in the snowbanks, I got a few pictures from some of those. We had a board meeting last week, and we were able to, talk about how much our public schools mean to us in celebration and recognition. And at every school, there's maybe a little bit something different. And but yeah, it's certainly a special week here in Wisconsin for our public schools.
One of the things I just wanted to ask a little bit about is we're in the middle right now, not in the middle, but getting towards the end of the school year. This is an exciting time where we're in the middle of getting ready for state wrestling. We've got, basketball coming up. I know you folks have hockey. I know that school is academics, but for so many of our communities across Wisconsin, there also are communities. Talk a little bit, Mike, in the Eau Claire School District about some of the successes outside of academia that just makes it part of the community.
It is. Those activities and events are really important for our kids and their families. Just a couple weeks ago, a show choir competition at Memorial High. Fast forward to now, we've got the tournament series for athletics, and whether it's wrestling, whether it's hockey, whether it's swimming, whether it's basketball, girls basketball just kicked off this week. There's always something to do on a Tuesday or a Thursday or a Friday or a Saturday. And if we're working here, like last night, I was watching Memorial. I had them on the broadcast, and then, with streaming, and I was able to watch River Falls for a little bit and able to watch North Huskies basketball. It's an interesting time and an exciting time for kids and families and, making memories.
Trygve?
Yeah, and I think you get to the heart of it, Mike, and we've had this conversation a lot of times. It's the cornerstone of the communities, right? Like people, it's what they're talking about on Wednesday morning or Sunday, and when they go to church, and people lose sight of the fact that in our small towns, like where you and I are from, that is the hub. But not only is it the hub of socially, it's the driver of the economic engine, right? Like, people go from the public schools to our public universities, and then they're the lawyers and the teachers and the nurses. And so it's easy for people to demonize public education if they don't pause and think just what a hub. It is truly what makes the state of Wisconsin an amazing place.
Mm-hmm. No, I couldn't agree more. And, many school leaders, I'll just talk about my own field. I'm unapologetic about my athletic background and coaching and teaching. And, at times, people mention that all about athletics or this or that. It's very important. It was important to my family. It was important to me, and it, it's that element of competition. And when you fail in athletics or in the activity you're in, whether it's show choir, whether it, forensics, it doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
It teaches you that stick-to-itiveness in your, whether it's the college or university you attend, and then into your life. We compete. I still compete. Do I look at the statistics on the state report cards in November when they're unembargoed and the embargo's listed? And do we look at, do I look at our regional schools? Do I look at schools that are our size and how we're achieving and our growth? Absolutely. And, I think part of that is that competition, whether it's in an activity or whether it's in athletics.
We're talking with Mike Johnson. He is the superintendent of public schools in the Eau Claire School District in Northwest Wisconsin, along with Trygve Olson, senior advisor at the Lincoln Project. Mike, if you could just talk a little bit about, because Trygve and I talk a lot about what happens in Washington. Of course, he has a lot, all this experience, as you well know, but we try to put it through a Wisconsin lens. And I think when we hear all these stories about immigration and changing policies, a lot of folks don't stop and think how that affects families in Wisconsin, and in particular, our schools. And I know you've been very adamant about keeping our public schools as safe places for students to learn. If you could talk a little bit about what these changes in Washington immigration, the effects it has had for you locally in Eau Claire, and how you've dealt with that.
I think we dealt with it very well, according to our families in the community. About a month ago, we were in Milwaukee for the state education convention with our board members and a few administrators. And that's when things really started to pick up a little bit with that executive order on immigration. We talked about it in the large district caucus, where 20 to 25 of the largest school districts talk about these matters, when we were down in Milwaukee. And you know what? Consult with legal, consult with DPI, examine your own policies. And we put something out to our staff and our families. And yes, it got circulated around the media, and that's fine. But we follow our policy, and here's the steps we take. We have control in our schools. We have control of our educational environment. And if an ICE agent were to come in, here's how we would handle it. They don't have carte blanche. They're a visitor like anyone else, but we have certain things that we need to examine. And we shared that with our principals. We shared that with our families after, and our staff, so that everybody felt comfortable. But it really is quite a bit of trauma to some families in our district. And, when we made that announcement on a Monday evening, I'd have to say 15 or 20 to 1, the positives that we heard from families across the district. Just about, this is how the schools will handle in that type of a case. And unfortunately, social media the next day, somebody posts something about seeing somebody at an ICE agent at 2 of our schools. Well, then that sets us back. And the nice thing was, here in Eau Claire, the law enforcement agencies said, that's very disturbing. And it really goes against all that we believe in, and the partnerships that we have with the schools and the community is, it just causes unnecessary trauma and to our entire community.
I was just so amazed, impressed with, just real quick, I was just amazingly impressed, Mike, with your leadership, with your district. You didn't make it partisan. You put the students first. You included the community, and you included law enforcement. And I was particularly impressed with the way law enforcement worked with the school district. And I think it's a great example how people in Washington don't think about how these things are going to affect local communities. And then it's on your shoulders and the police chief and everybody else in the community. And I just thought what you all did at Eau Claire was just an example of how it should be handled. Trygve?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, Mike, you and I have been friends for a long time, and that's a testament to the public education system too, right? Like I was saying before you got on, walked into Tim Hirsch's class and been friends ever since. but I mean, I'm proud of the way that you've been leading on it. And I think your leadership really, you hit on perhaps the most important point. The trauma that's caused and that you have to mitigate is not just for the kids who, I guess we lost Mike, but the trauma isn't just for the kids who might be deported, who are victims in it, but it's for all of them, all the kids who are sitting in that classroom, because that's their friend.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. It's relationships. It's relationship building. Mike, do we have you back now?
Sorry about that, guys.
No worries.
I think I did catch enough from what you had shared, but to Trygve's point.
Yeah, I was
at the
just
end-
busy praising you, Mike.
Yeah.
I'm proud of you, buddy.
Hey, that's that River Falls and UW Eau Claire connection,
Right.
I'm sure. No, it like you had both mentioned, it was the trauma wasn't necessarily to families directly impacted. It was, my friends, kindergarten through 5th grade students at an elementary school. My friends, this could happen to my friends. And that was something that, that we had heard from other families as well. Not just some of our, like I said, some of our families were directly impacted.
Yeah. As we look ahead, we're talking with Mike Johnson, Superintendent of Public Schools in Eau Claire, celebrating this Public Schools Week. As you look at what's on the horizon in terms of we're in a state budget right now, and I know you don't like to get partisan political. That's absolutely fine, but just help us understand as lay people who are not in education, because I think a lot of us just don't understand it because we're not there. What would you like the general public to be aware of the challenges, but also the opportunities for public education in Wisconsin?
Well, yeah, that's a heck of a question. It'd probably be a 2 to 3 hour conversation.
Sure.
and things that we discussed
The top one or
last
two.
April when you guys, when you guys, when we had this at the university last year. Ultimately, Wisconsin schools have been severely underfunded for decades. And it's really magnified now with the ESSER monies that came in to really help with the results or the impact of the pandemic. Well, with Wisconsin, not getting in the past biennium to get any increase in our funding. Well, now we're seeing the results of that, where this is largely on the taxpayer, where we went to referendum in November, and about a third of the schools in the state had gone to a referendum for their operations. The day-to-day stuff, it's people, it's supplies, it's programming. And, now we've got to wait till June or July to get a budget, a new biennial budget. Well, I think the statistics are right now 93 districts or 85 districts, maybe 93 questions are going in February. I think there were 5 or 6, and the rest are going to go in April, on April 1st. Again, and that's what we heard throughout our 65 referendum presentations for the funding of our schools, equitable funding of our schools, is that this is not just an Eau Claire problem. This is a regional, this is a statewide problem, that schools are not funded as they should be, keeping up with inflation and with the programming and positions that people had found necessary as a result of COVID to keep those things going, keep those people in those positions, keep those systems moving. And it'll be very interesting to see how many districts go to referendum in November if there isn't some serious work done, whether it's on the special education funding, for example.
30 seconds left, Mike. Anything we have not asked you want people to know about Eau Claire Public Schools during this Public Schools Week?
You know what? You mentioned it before. It's a nonpartisan issue. And we found that in our referendum. We had a big ask for the taxpayers, the largest that we've had in Eau Claire, to my knowledge. But, we had 65% who voted yes. So there are plenty of Republican folks that strongly support our schools here in Eau Claire. And I'm really proud of that. And I'm proud of our community.
Mike Johnson, Superintendent of Public Schools in Eau Claire. Mike, you and all your team are part of what makes Wisconsin great. Keep doing a great job. Thanks for being with us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks for all you do.
Stay tuned. Back after this. Ba-da-da-da-da-da. Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. Ba-ba-da-da-da-da.
Look at this.
Luke Mathers.
He's on
here.
mute.
Da-da-da-da-da-da.
There comes a time when you see a special Luke, and he's got dogs. 2 dogs so cute as one. Ba-da-da-da.
Should I leave now?
He's wearing a brewer's hat.
Brewer's hat.
There's things upon his wall. He does
Be a
it
brighter
should
day for
leave.
you and
I
a
should
brighter day
leave.
for me.
I think I need to leave.
He is the
Okay.
Luke. He is the Lukester. He makes a brighter day for you and me so it can be better.
Take it, Bob Dylan.
What drugs did you guys take this morning?
We're
just
high
had-
on the Lord, Luke.
We had toast. We had toast. It's National Toast Day, Luke.
You almost burned the place down.
I did actually. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. There's no more smoke.
There's no more. Oh, boy. All right, come back in 30 seconds. And we're just singing you a song, Luke. That's what we were doing.
Exactly.
That's all we were doing.
Now you put the overlay on.
As you drive throughout Wisconsin this morning, maybe you're taking a taxi to work or to school. It is now 51 minutes past the hour or 9 before the hour of 8 o'clock here on a Thursday, February 27th, 2025. Todd Allbaugh in Madison, Greg Bach in Racine, Kenosha, filling in for a vacationing Milwaukee Brewers spring training edition of Pat Kreitlow and Up North News Radio. Pat is making his way on his Lear jet back to Wisconsin, and he'll be back tomorrow on this very time slot. Does Pat have a jet, Greg? Does he have a? Is that what he has?
He has one of those, like, he gets in one of those squirrel costumes that's got, like, jumps off a mountain and just glides to his next destination.
He does. He's a smooth operator, that's for sure.
Right.
Absolutely. Many thanks to Mike Johnson, Superintendent of Public Schools, and Eau Claire for being our guest last segment, along with Trygve Olson of the Lincoln Project. It is National Public Schools Week. We celebrate that here on Civic Media and Up North News Radio, which we said returns tomorrow. Quick check of temperatures around the state of Wisconsin. 37 degrees still along Lake Gitchagumi in Superior, down at 37 degrees now in Racine, Kenosha, where Greg Bach is at. 36 in Milwaukee. It is 36 in Green Bay, Wisconsin. 37 now in Eau Claire. 36 right now in Wausau. 37 degrees in Wisconsin Rapids, 36 in Richland Center, and here in the capital city, 37 degrees in Madison as well, 37 in La Crosse as well. So 37 is a wild number. 31 is the number of our next guest. He is our senior advisor, operations director, and Brewers player extraordinaire, knower of all things. Luke Mathers joins us from his beautiful home in Sun Prairie, Wisconsin. Lukester, how are you?
I'm doing well, Todd.
Studio audience here, raging on. Yeah, absolutely.
You guys took the giggle juice this morning, it sounds like.
It's just a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day in
Yeah.
Wisconsin, and happy to be with all of our lovely listeners this morning.
And we're genuinely happy to have you here.
Yes.
Genuinely.
Genuinely. All right.
Yes.
Is that the word of the day?
It is, and I'm not sure if you heard, Luke, earlier. It's National Toast Day, so I brought some toast into the studios here in the old toaster, and we made some toast with Brittany Merlot this morning. That was a lot of fun. What's your favorite topping of toast, Luke?
Gotta go with the raspberry jam.
Raspberry jam. That's a very good choice.
Jam.
There you go. A diplomat.
Very good. I have.
What?
I can keep the toaster on until you get in here, but we've got strawberry rhubarb. If you want some of that,
I'm not a big strawberry rhubarb guy. I'm really not a huge fan. No, my mom always made it growing up, and it was kind of one of those things where I was like, I'd rather have raspberry or grape if I'm going with jellies and jams.
All right, very good. Also on this 27th of February, guess what? It's National Small Dog Day. And you have to say it like that, dog, like an East Coaster. It is all through the last Thursday.
Why do you have to say it that way?
Because that's what it says in the National Small Dog Registry. The last Thursday in February is National Small Dog Day, and specifically dedicated to celebrating small dogs in the pack, their mighty personalities, and the huge impact they have on their lives. What constitutes a small dog, you ask? Well, dogs that weigh 20 pounds or less fall under the small dog or toy dog breed category. Luke, you have not one, but 2 dogs in the house. Do you consider them small dogs?
No, they do not meet that criteria. No.
They're over 20 pounds?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Aurora's got to be, what, like 25 pounds, right?
Oh no, they're both in the mid-30s now.
Oh, wow.
Aurora's pretty, she's full grown. She's about the same size as Remy now. So
I held Aurora when she was an itty bitty. She's the size of a potato, like a potato.
They all start small. The puppies all start small, and Aurora was a little fluff ball. We're getting the 1 year kind of like screen time hop or whatever. All the reminders of this is what you were doing last year. That all of our smartphones and stuff do now. And we were getting all these 1 year memory pictures of Aurora as a little tiny, as she's pulling the mic out from underneath the desk.
That's fantastic. That's what we wanted. Let's get her on camera. Where's she at?
She ran away scared.
Oh,
she pulled
she
on
scared herself.
She stepped on the wire underneath the desk, and now
she went from a brave dog to a scaredy cat.
Yeah. So we're getting all the 1 year fluff ball memories of her, and it's very good. Let me see if I can get her on the street.
All right, very good. We are attempting now. This is a big day. Toast and dogs. Look at that. There she is. There she is. Absolutely.
I would say, does she look like a small dog to you? Come on.
But she's a lap. She's on your lap. Oh, she has a ball. She has her ball.
That's what she went underneath the desk to grab it. Apparently, it was hanging out over there, and that's why she stepped on the mic wire, but that's okay. But yeah, they're both in their mid-30s, almost. Remy's almost approaching 40 pounds, so they're good mid-sized dogs. So, like, not big dogs by any means, but definitely not the ankle biter, small dog. I'm not a fan of those. The little yappers,
like a toy cup poodle or teacup poodle.
Not my cup of tea when it comes to dog breeds. So I'm a big fan. They are technically mini Australian Shepherds. They're not full Australian Shepherds, which gets them in that 30. But they also have, you can see some of the videos of like toy Australian Shepherds, and that's those small ones. That's the only kind of small dog I could probably handle. But
you like a good sized dog.
Yeah, 30, 40 pounds, good size. She's learning a bunch of tricks right now. So we're doing tricks class, and so she's running through. We're working the brain because they're too darn smart.
Will she bring you a beer? Have you taught her how to bring you a beer yet? Because some dogs will do that.
I'm trying to cut down, so I'm not training her on that one. We're doing really well with spin, paws up, crawl. She's getting good. She mastered the tunnel as well at class this week. So she was at first terrified of the tunnel, and now she can run through it pretty well.
Yeah, all right. It's so cute when they're so afraid, and then they just go for it, and they're like, "This is the best thing ever."
Yep. I got some videos I can show you, Greg. They're pretty cute.
All right, look, Mathers, we appreciate you being here. I know we were going to talk a little Badger sports, but we got to do dogs. That's dogs and toast. It was a big day this morning on Civic Media this morning. Thanks, Luke. We appreciate you.
Badgers at Michigan State Sunday. Tune in on the Civic Media app.
Thank you, Luke. We appreciate it. Thank you to Greg, everybody else who made our show go. Greg will be back at 10 o'clock with Matt and Aaron Air. I'll see you at noon. Kreitlow and Up North News Radio back tomorrow. Coming up next, the news, followed by Earl Ingram. Stay tuned, and Chad Holmes in Wausau. You've been listening to the Civic Media Radio Network.
And we're out.
Close, but we got it.
And faster. All right. Thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate your time.
All right. Thanks, everybody. See you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.